You all came to the right place. I'm going to get started with today's lesson, but before we get to the problem of the day, let's go over a little history. Come back in time with me to a place called ancient Greece. Plato was a philosopher in ancient Greece. He was so smart, he thought of a theory called the theory of vision. He believed that there was a fire inside the human body, strongest behind the eyes. And when a person looked at an object, a visual ray emanating from that fire behind the eyes would touch that object and receive spiritual nourishment. This is why we see so much religious art from this time, and especially images of the nursing Madonna. This is St. Augustine, 800 years later. St. Augustine was a theologist and a philosopher of the Christian religion. And he decided that Plato had some pretty good ideas, and he wanted everyone to believe in what Plato believed 800 years before they were alive. So, that's what he did. And you know what else he did? He said he was scared of boobies, and he said, no more art that is naked. So, because of St. Augustine, Neoplatonic philosophy became extremely popular and stayed popular into the early Renaissance. Flash forward. Here we go. We're in the 1800s now. A lot of time has passed. We've overcome the Black Plague and a lot of the problems that we used to have. All thanks to Plato's theory. Now we become nourished by art and a guy named Stephen Mallarmé, a famous French poet, developed his patented theory that when you look at a book and you look at the same book with your friend, it becomes a different book inside of each person's mind. He called this theory our multiple comprehension. And he was very, very smart. This was the birth of subjectivity, an idea that would later be destroyed by artists. Mallarmé believed that books were instruments. Can you believe that? No, you can't. He believed that every book was only a book once it was read by someone and interpreted by them. So, then there was a creative boom. Say hello to Kandinsky. Kandinsky was a Russian abstract painter, and he thought that he knew colors so good that he could tell everybody what they were. So, according to Kandinsky, green is like a fat, very healthy cow, lying still and unmoving, only capable of chewing the cud, regarding the world with dull, stupid eyes. That's really clever. This guy was smarter than cows, right? Gosh, what a cool guy. He must have had synesthesia or something. Too bad people have been thinking of colors for a long time before him. Somewhere in between Marlamé and my next historic figure, there was a guy named Sol LeWitt. I don't know if you guys heard of him, but he's a minimalist artist. And he's actually the founder of our problem of the day. If words are used and they proceed from ideas about art, then they are art and not literature. Numbers are not mathematics. If words are used and they proceed from ideas about art, then they are art and not literature. Numbers are not mathematics. It seems like we're all having trouble with this one, so how about we do it together? This comes from an essay by Sol LeWitt entitled Sentences on Contemporary or Conceptual Art. Excuse me. He later went on to say that this essay wasn't art, but comments about art. So remember that. About this to me is we're told what precedes the words. What precedes the words is ideas about art, but we're never told what precedes the numbers. When did we start counting? If we go back and we read Genesis, Yahweh gifted Adam with the dominion over the animals before he was given the gift of speech. Dominion over the animals. Don't you think that has something to do with counting? So, if ideas about art equals X, and X plus words equals art, I'm going to go ahead and assume that x plus numbers equals art 2. I mean, can we all agree? Okay. This doesn't make much sense to me. Because if this is true and this is true, then numbers and words must be the exact same thing. I mean, that makes sense, right? So if we're going to believe that numbers and words are the same, we need to do a little digging. If numbers are words, they can't be. Because words are letters times however many you want. So let's say X, right guys? So what is X though? Is it a number? This is getting crazy. So if words equal letters times numbers, but numbers times X, that's just math. I mean, that looks like math to me. I don't know about y'all. This is really confusing. How did we get here? What are we doing? Listen, I got no problem with fashion, guys. But people used to distress their own jeans. Am I right? This is what I'm interested in. I like fashion, don't get me wrong. I got a problem with some of these art galleries. That's what I got a problem with. Let's go back to Kandinsky. So after he died and everybody forgot about him, the next person who came was a woman named Melanie Klein. She was a Jewish psychoanalyst from Austria. She took a look at all these guys who came before her. Augustine, Plato, and he said, you guys are messed up. You guys are projecting your own problems onto everyone else and onto babies. And that doesn't need to happen anymore. Just to give you an idea, I want to go back. Do you guys mind if I backtrack a little? Remember Augustine? I got a quote from him here. This is him recounting his upbringing in the Catholic Church. As then the mother, when she sees her child unfit for taking meat, gives him meat, but through her flesh. The infant is not ready for the table. He is only ready for the breast. And therefore bread is passed from the table through the mother's breast, that the same food may thus reach the infant, thus our Lord Jesus Christ. The bread made himself milk for us, being incarnate and appearing in mortal shape. On this, let us grow. By this milk, let us be nourished. Let us not depart from our faith in the milk before we are strong enough to receive the word. Things coming together for y'all here? Okay, back to that lady. So Melanie Klein looked back at all these guys and she said, this is the problem. This is where all the problems start, is infancy. A baby has nothing else to think but, am I a parasite? When it's nursing. The baby looks up at his mother, and it's the first moment that he realizes that we are all experiencing this world together. This is his first moment realizing that other people feel things. And it causes him a lot of frustration and a lot of passion too. Cut to present day. This is my name. And this is me. Yes, that's right. I made a transparency for myself. I'm the artist, and I get to do that. I'll leave you all with a little words of advice. Words, not letters, not numbers, not math, not literature. Words, people. It matters what ideas we use to think other ideas with. Marilyn Strathern, she's a pretty contemporary anthropologist. So that's kind of just some enlightening words for you all, and a reminder to please experience the art in this room and in other rooms in the future. And make sure to receive spiritual nourishment from them. That is very important. That's it. Thank you.